Howdy, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're all having a good start to your week despite the gloomy weather we've had and that we will continue to have, unfortunately. This is a look at live radar right now, just ahead of 5 o'clock, just to kind of give you an idea of what we're dealing with. And if I zoom out here, this is just kind of kick the forecast off and show you most of the U.S. looking cloud free. And then there's Texas. And a low deck of stratus clouds kind of stuck over our state today because we've got a lot of low level moisture on hand from the Gulf. That's going to stick with us, that we're going to use as fuel for some showers starting tomorrow, but more significantly on Thursday. So we're going to jump in. We're going to talk rain chances. We'll talk when we can shake this cloud cover. We'll talk our first alert weather day, which is Thursday. And then we'll get an early look ahead at our weekend forecast, which it looks good, which is the good news here. But we've got a lot to get through before we make it to the weekend. So live radar again right now, lots of cloud cover. It's been really gloomy outside. And a few of us have seen some passing, very light, unimpressive showers today. And that's what you see when we look at first alert radar here. The little greens moving in from from southwest to northeast here, streaming right over Bryan College Station just about 20 minutes ago. We saw really, really light rain falling here at the station in Bryan, but it's very short-lived and low in accumulation. And that's kind of what we've seen today. Mostly it's just been cloud cover, a lot of moisture on hand, and just not enough through the entire column to bring us rain. But as we look at the forecast, we jump ahead to this evening, starting to see radar fill in a little bit late tonight into the overnight hours. Even still, it's streaming showers. It's nothing significant and nothing of concern. Same kind of story tomorrow, but we will see a more widespread nature of this, starting as early as about 4 or 5 a.m. and continuing through your morning commute. And then we'll see it kind of lighten up, a little bit of a lull through the late afternoon, early evening hours. Then as we settle into our overnight hours between Wednesday and Thursday, that's when our focus shifts to storm chance. The reason being is because we've got a big area of low pressure moving off the west coast, moving toward the west parts of Texas as we speak. As that trough moves closer and closer, we get some disturbances, we get a little bit of lift, and that helps this moisture-rich environment produce some rain. So mainly we're going to be watching the cold front. These are going to be front-driven showers and storms that come together to our north and west early, first couple hours of Thursday. So this is the picture of forecast radar at 1 a.m. We're going to see this really looks like it's going to start to line up right along or just to the northwest of I-35. And it still looks pretty ominous, for lack of a better word, as it approaches the Brazos Valley. But the past several runs of our high-resolution models, both of them, have indicated that as this moves toward the Brazos Valley, as it moves toward southeast Texas, the atmosphere is a little bit more stable here, especially if we can keep that thick deck of clouds on hand. That will keep our atmosphere stabler, because if we're not able to tap into all the daytime heating, all the energy in the atmosphere, that makes it harder for storms to get up and going. It makes it harder for storms that are, even if they already going, they'll start to disorganize and start to weaken, and just won't pack as big of a punch, which is obviously good news here. So here's what it looks like right now as this moves into our area. Looking optimistic for the fact that it will be an isolated concern for severe weather. So we will likely still see some rumbles of thunder, some gusty winds, a quick downpour. That's really our largest concern as the line rolls through. We're going to see some straight line wind gusts, again, along with some heavier pockets of rainfall. And then this will continue to move to the south and east, clearing our area by the late afternoon hours on Thursday. So primarily a morning event, but we'll watch it march to the south and east. We know how cold fronts go, that's shifting that air mass, so the timing could be a little bit slower, could speed up a little bit. So we're just going to have to watch that really closely as it arrives Thursday morning. But again, it's an isolated concern, and then once the front clears out, takes the rainstorms out with it first, then we're going to get the cloud cover to clear out as well. Finally, after a very, very gloomy week, we will shake the clouds. So let's focus in on Thursday here for a second. Still a first alert weather day, especially because of the timing of the front and the timing of the arrival of these storms set to be in the morning. So still something that could affect your morning commute, could make for a messy situation on the roads, and still certainly a day that you'll need to stay weather aware. But again, it's an isolated concern. Storm Prediction Center agrees with us. They have a level 1 out of 5 for most of us. That's everywhere that you see green. Then as the system and the line move further to the south and east, Montgomery, San Jacinto, Walker, and Trinity counties, at least portions of those counties, are included in a level 2 out of 5 scattered risk. as it moves to East Texas, it will just be in a little bit more favorable environment, a little bit more conducive to producing stronger storms. So as the front marches to the south and east, we'll shift our focus from our northern counties to our central counties to our southern and eastern counties, just moving right along with the direction of the system. So our rain and storm timeline right now, biggest concern is the window between 6 a.m. and lunchtime. But as the front moves further to the east, if it is able to tap into a little bit more instability, then our concern will build for eastern counties specifically. But the deal here is once the line moves through your area, then you'll be in the clear for the most part. So although this is a 6-hour window, it won't be 6 hours for one spot, if that makes sense. So we'll kind of watch this move to the south and east throughout the morning hours, and then again exiting by the early evening. Until then, though, again, we're going to monitor heavy rain, flooding, strong straight line wind gusts. Those are really the primary concerns with this system as it moves through. And hail is a low concern, but still something we'll watch for if we get any embedded little supercells. Pocket change size hail is really what we expect, if at all. Tornado concern is virtually, I'll say it's very low, but we can't completely rule it out. If we get a little discrete supercell with a little bit of rotation, we will watch that, but the concern is very low for that Thursday. So again, heavy rain, flooding, especially in our normal trouble spots, but the heaviest corridor of rainfall exists to our north and east. Where you see the band of red and orange from DFW out toward Little Rock, that's where we expect multiple inches to fall potentially in a pretty short time frame. So a larger flooding concern exists there. And then it kind of lightens up as it moves toward the Brazos Valley. Right now we expect widespread 3/4 to 1.5 inches. Isolated totals could be a little bit higher than that if we get a little bit of training, a little bit of back building, or the front stalls a little bit and we get that line to kind of sit and pour some rain down. But right now that is not what we anticipate. So this is the picture. A good soaking rainfall without too many bumps and bruises is what we're hoping for as we move through the front half of Thursday. Okay, I know I kind of talked quickly through all of that, but that's kind of the summary here. And then the weekend, my favorite part of the forecast this week. It looks great. It looks really great. I recommend that you make plans to take you outside because after last week, freezing temperatures, cold winds, snow, ice, this week, gloomy, rainy, potentially stormy, and then we get this weekend set up that really is just a breath of fresh air. Sunshine, temperature-wise, starting close to 50, warming up to the low to mid 70s. Lots of sunshine finally. It will be a little bit breezy on Friday, just in the wake of that cold front, so something to take into account. But beyond that, really no complaints about the forecast. It's going to look really great. Rain and clouds finally clear, so making a gloomy week. There's the silver lining to the gloomy week, is the weekend forecast. Okay, friends, I don't see any questions in the chat. That was pretty cut and dry now, but we'll continue to iron out details over the next 24 to 36 hours about Thursday, but right now it still looks like an isolated concern, but something we encourage you to continue to check in on, which is why it's the first alert weather day, because it could still impact your morning commute at the very least, and some gusty winds and some isolated flooding, really what we're going to be monitoring for through the front half of the day on Thursday. Okay, here's a look at your extended forecast. I will step aside here. We are about 4 minutes into Live at 5, so still plenty of time to head over there and catch Chief Meteorologist Max Crawford's full forecast with even more details. But you can always visit kvtx.com or our First Alert Weather app for the latest on the forecast. Just 2 more days of gloomy, rainy, and potentially stormy before things clear out this weekend. So hunker down, keep your rain gear on hand, keep your weather app on hand. Then as we head to the weekend, get outside. Those are my recommendations to you as we move through the next 5 days or so. So hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. Hope the clouds aren't dampening your spirits too much. But if you need a silver lining, just look at the Friday, Saturday, Sunday forecast on here.